G'day. There are many videos comparing the TRX4 to all sorts of other crawlers, the Gen 8, which we've got coming up, the SCX10.2 and 3 of course. But what about a competition crawler? This here has competed in national and a world event. It's probably middle of the range for a world event. Let's have a look. This is the TRX4 Bronco with significant upgrades for competition use and later for trailing use. This is a custom-built competition rig used in scale performance or C2 events. It's been used in a national event. Just how much better is a professional rig versus an upgraded TRX4? Let's find out. This is the TRX4 Bronco. On the top side we've got a 2800 kV hobby wing FOC system. We've got a 32 kilogram brushless servo for steering. And all the normal mods have been made for adding weight on the corners, front and rear. We've got brass on the inside, so it's well weighted, well balanced. Then we compare it to a competition rig which weighs almost half of what the TRX4 weighs. There is still brass in on these corners here, but it has the famous hamburger transmission, which gives an over-driven out the front and an under-driven rear. We've got a 40-turn Holmes brushed motor and a 1080 ESC. The Holmes BLS HV500. Your maximum steering angle is the same. The wheelbase is about the same. I'm using SCX10.2 axles on this kit. And you're looking at a 313 wheelbase. So we have the same wheels, same tyres on both. Let's put them through their paces on some test problems on some of my courses here, and we'll see which one performs better. For this test we're going to use the same battery on each. They're both going to be running 3S. Same battery, same wheels, same tyres. The TRX4 has more weight up top. The comp truck's been optimised to have its weight down low with as little weight as possible up top, which is why it looks like it bounces around a bit when we plug these in. I'll be using the same radio, same wheels, same tyres, same batteries. And so now we shall put the lids on and we'll get these guys on the course. We won't plug the lights in, we don't need that for this test. The TRX4 will have a disadvantage too. It's got a bit of weight in the side steps. I'm not going to take them off for this test because chances are if you're looking to upgrade your TRX4 for performance, you still want to have some of the pretty stuff on because this is a scale trail rig after all. My competition rig, my performance scale rig, has a Derrelin chassis, which is a big part of where the weight saving is, as opposed to the steel C chassis on the TRX. We also have longer travel suspension in the front, and it's got something of, well, it's not a droop setup, but it does settle when you put it down. It's quite plush. Now again, this is a custom rig I've built from the ground up. It's using a body from my Viterra Ascender. I liked it because it gives plenty of travel. I could cut the front out, the wheels give me maximum movement, there's no deformation on the body, and it hides my wiring underneath, which is one of the rules, whether or not you use the Scorza rules or the what do we run? The ARCCC rules. Right, the bodies are on. Let's get these things onto the course. Alright, we'll start this test with the performance scale. This problem will take us up this section here as an opportunity to high point on this rock here, and another opportunity to high point on these two locations here. So the trucks need to come up here, not fall down, make it across onto this side hilling rock, there's quite a gap in here, and then down the other side. And the aim in competitions is to do this without needing to reverse, or to reverse as little as possible. So here's the performance scale rig first. Alright, now the Bronco. We're in low gear, both diffs are locked. Now I haven't got an underdriven rear, so at this point I'd unlock the rear, and there's one reverse. Still side hilling thanks to the low down weight. We're close to rolling here, but we should pull this off. Here we go. Having that unlocked rear diff really helps with the tight corners. Performance scale takes up by 1 point. Alright, we'll start with the TRX4 since it's on from the last problem. The first challenge is to get the rig up this very steep entry. And you need to get the front left tyre wedged right in there, so it can hook around to the right and pull the whole rig over. See how it deforms? That's the weight. I probably need stiffer foams in the front actually, but that's how you get this rig over the top. Longer travel in the front wouldn't hurt at this point. I'd like the front right to drop down. So we're going to steer down. And you can see that back wheel. Now we're going to steer up again to keep the balance of the rig. The Hobbywing Axe FOC system, this is the R2 in this one, does a beautiful job of just letting it walk ever so slowly down. In the competition, time matters. You've got a time limit, but a clean drive matters more. I can actually make more mistakes. The TRX wouldn't have quite made that line then. I get to make more mistakes with this rig because it's lighter and it has the travel where it's actually more forgiving to be driving this rig. See how it stays more flat over the top? There's less chance of it wanting to tip. And because I've got more clearance as well, I mean I can even haul it forward just on the steering. It can really help rebalance the whole rig. So the TRX4 would be looking more awkward, but both vehicles have made this challenge. That's challenge number 2. This is a very steep entry and most rigs won't make this entry. I don't even know if this one will do it, but I guess we'll find out. This is the competition rig first. Getting the right line on the entry is crucial. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show you. The diff in the rear often will get hung up on this entry point, and if you get the angle wrong, you're in trouble. In this case, we should be fine. One thing I've done while we've got it up there, you can see I've actually filed down the diff to make it as smooth as possible on the underneath. Wouldn't do that on a trail truck, you want it to be a bit prettier. But this is a question of function over form. Most trail rigs would have fallen back to the right here, and I think this might be the same. Let's find out. Alright, look at that. So what this just did then, that was my bad driving actually, but it pulled it off. Let's see how the TRX4 does. Here's the TRX4. We're still in low gear with both diffs locked. I can't make the same mistake I made with the performance scale rig because we'll fall over. So I need to come more to the left on this once I get the back up. The portals obviously help. The other rig doesn't have portals. I'm going to disengage the rear diff here. I want to try and pull it forward. Nope. Let's try it again. Alright, we're going to enter from a slightly different angle. The higher centre of gravity really works against almost every rig on this problem. It's I don't remember if I've ever driven it with this truck actually. See if we can get it into the crack there. Let's see here. Oh, there we go, we'll do it. Look at that. High pointing. The comp rig didn't do that. Remember, these are the same size tyres, same wheels, same tyres, same battery. Different motor, obviously, but gee, we need some tougher foams in this front. I thought we had that. Oh, we're going to roll. There we go. I'll disengage the rear here because I want it to pull across without pushing forward too much. Oh, turns out we needed the rear. This is going to fall. I'll protect you guys. Alright, this is the third attempt on this problem with the TRX4. This can be done in one hit with this rig, I'm pretty sure, but you need to be perfect. This is the fifth attempt with the TRX4. There is a question of driver competence here, but it is the same driver, same wheels, same tyres. So the comp rig actually is more forgiving. Even if I make a mistake, I get away with it with the comp rig where I don't with the trail truck. There we go. Okay, so although I did that in one go with no reverses, it took me 5 attempts, and with the comp truck I just did it straight away. On to the next problem. Okay, on to the fourth problem. This is a rough entrance. The vehicle gets twisted up quite a bit. There's quite a gap, and then down onto the lattice. Both rigs should be able to do this. I'll let you guess which rig's going to do it more easily. This is the TRX4. I should also say I'm driving with one hand here for this filming. Now the comp truck would have let me get away with that. There we go. Now I'm going to need a reverse here because there's a gap. Oh, we might not. Unlock the rear. See if we can pull it around. We might get lucky. There's a nasty hole down there. It looks less doable from this side, but still possible. Let's find out. Oh, try locking the rear. There we go. Now we're going to need to actually jump it across to this next bit to avoid a reverse, because every reverse costs you a point, and the more points, the worse you do. There we go. Oh, but it was too much, so we've got to reverse anyway. This was a driver issue, this one. I can reverse and then pause, then reverse some more. As long as my wheels don't go forward, it counts as one reverse. So I can actually stop, walk around, have a look at the problem, in most comps anyway, and it's still the one reverse. But we might have screwed the pooch on this. Might need to have another go. That's a chance. There's a chance. Well, the other option is to keep driving forward within curb 1 reverse, but if we can still pull this off without having to recover the vehicle. There we go. Alright, so nope. Didn't come in close enough, so we've got to come out again. This happens in real comps too. If you've got to reset without incurring any more reversing, you want to line it up exactly right. Okay, that was a better entry angle this time, no problems. The rig stays straight. We're going to have to ignore that branch. I can't interfere with the truck while it's on course. This is better. So a correct line makes a big difference, and we're off. We're going to need to take a second shot at this now. We're 3 minutes in. Typically, not always, but typically, at least in Australia, and I think with Europe as well, but I'm not completely sure, you get a 7-minute time limit on many courses, and some comps have a 5 or a 6-minute time limit. So even though we've only incurred 1 reverse, getting the right line on the entry here is crucial for this problem. Portals are very helpful here, but line choice, regardless of the technology under your lid, line choice is critical. Line choice needs to continue. I'm too far over, but we can correct for that. Now many rigs will get high pointed here, but we're still okay. As long as we've got, oh, we're out. Now I'm not reversing here, and I haven't reset the vehicle. As long as that log doesn't wreck us up, all we've lost in this attempt so far is time. So if this was a comp, I've just lost however long it took to do that first attempt, and now we've muffed it. So we might need to have a third take. Let's give it a go. All right. This is the third attempt. I've had 2 failures so far. I also broke the course. Okay, TRX4, one last go. Now remember, I'm driving with one hand here because I want to keep a close watch underneath so that you can see what's going on. This next section, even though you can get high pointed, even if you avoid it, if you are too far to the right, the vehicle will fall down. So we want to make sure we keep it straight, and the back, I don't know if you can see that, the back found purchase. So now we're good. But now there's quite a big gap here, and depending on the rig, sometimes you've just got to give it some throttle to jump it across. So in this case, I think we can just walk it, probably. What I'm going to try and do is get that front right to get a bit of grip. Oh, the sliders are doing their job. Now we're in trouble. So in a comp, I've made a mistake here. I'm not going to reverse, we've still got time. We're going to come forward and have another go. If you're quick about it, this is not a problem. As long as you stay between the markers. You'll have to use your imagination. I haven't put any markers out today. Okay. So far we're good. Now at this point, I think throttle is going to be a useful tool. Nope. And that's it. That's 4 attempts. I think we might call that for the TRX4. Did not finish. So now we're going to try the performance scale. It doesn't have portals, but it's lighter overall weight, and it's longer suspension, particularly, well, only in the front actually, should hopefully give me greater scope for mistakes, but also for challenging terrain. So the back diff is going to scrape its way up here where the TRX4 cleared it. Oh, we would have been fine if I'd held that. I don't think we can drive this out actually. Let's try. Nope, we're out. Alright, haven't reversed yet. We'll treat it like a comp. And in a comp, if you don't reverse, and you don't go through any markers in the wrong order or touch them, this attempt only cost us time. So I'm going to do a better job this time and pick a better line. We're over to the right a bit more. So that's all that was. That was a poor line choice. We're going to come across. This next section is more likely to high point the vehicle, where it didn't high point the TRX4, which has portals of course. But if we carry a little bit more momentum, possibly unnecessarily, at this point a reverse is probably wise. I need the front to come around to the left some more, and that should get us over. These are not the best tyres for competition. They're not terrible, but yeah, we're still reaching some limits here. So we're going to reverse a little. So I've cost, I think, 2, possibly 3 reverses, because I paused once earlier and went the other way by accident, but let's call it 3. We're 3 reverses in. Okay, now the TRX4 got to this point before and then fell down to the left, where I think we should be fine on this rig. Mostly because it has a lower centre of gravity, and the longer suspension travel meant my front right wheel had purchase, where the TRX4 just couldn't quite reach a foot down. And down. So the comp rig, I think with practice we could do that in one hit with no reverses on definitely the comp rig. The TRX4, I'm not sure, it was DNF, so the comp rig definitely takes this one. On to the next problem. Now this is the second last problem. The place is actually quite overgrown, so I'll do a clean up soon, but that's the course. So you start on these rocks here, down into a little gully, up some very steep rocks. This rock is particularly challenging to climb, and we're going to watch from the angle actually. We're going to watch from here. So this is the performance rig first. Any rig can do that, but getting the right line for the transition is very important. And line choice is everything on this problem. Get it wrong and you either high point on the left or you fall down to the right. Not that you'd know that, because the comp rig made that look easy. Let's try the TRX4. Hello Tally. Okay, and here is the TRX4 on the same problem. Again, any rig can drop down there, but getting the right angle is critical. And also, the fatter body at the front means the tyres will need to do a bit of work to separate that bumper. Well, I did it from the rock. And now to keep that advantage, get the rear down. Now where we're already not lined up properly here, this is going to be a problem. I'm going to unlock the rear, another advantage of the TRX4, and see if the front can pull across now. Lock it again. Performance scale will let you do this. You can't have a dig, but you can disengage drive to a wheel. You just can't lock the wheel. There we go. Now as long as it doesn't slip, so now it's down to the tyres, which are not great, but they're not bad. They're super swampers. This is the TSL SX, I think. Proline super swampers on both. As long as we get some traction here, we'll be good. The line is good. I think we might be stuck. Here we are. Right. The control, the wheel speed you get from the Hobbywing FOC system is just phenomenal. I really like the axe for this. Warped it up. So that, I would call a tie. Both rigs did that problem. And we have one problem left, and it's a doozy. This is the final problem for this comparison. It's a steep entry up to the top and then down the other side. TRX4 is first because it's on. Unlocking the rear, letting the front pull around. We're still not lined up particularly well, and I will need a reverse, so we're going to take that now. You can pause in a reverse, you just can't change the wheel direction. It counts as one in most rule sets. Now as long as this front tyre grabs, we'll be alright. Line choice is critical as always, and clearance is what gets this over, which we don't actually have on this rig. I've just unlocked the rear. Nope, that was a mistake. Another reverse. Now if you're wondering, I haven't practiced any of these before this video. Some of these I've driven before, but never with this truck actually, in its current configuration. And I haven't driven any of these problems on this video today in at least a year and possibly two. Oh, probably about a year actually. I think it's doable, but I don't know. Second reverse, no, third reverse actually. Yeah, might call that DNF. Okay, and now to the performance scale rig. Part of this problem is that we need to turn left. I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but we need to get around to the left, which means getting the right line is critical. While the steering angle on both rigs is comparable, for whatever reason, probably the underdrive and overdrive on this rig lets it turn tighter radius than the TRX. So I've come up on what I think is about a good a line as you can hope for, and I think it will actually do it. Yeah, look at that. Straight up, hopefully. Yep, look at that. Did it. It'll still be a reverse, but it did it. So underdrive and overdrive makes a difference, and I haven't actually got those gears installed in the TRX4 yet. That might be an upgrade to seriously consider for crawling. Everyone's familiar with the TRX4, but I thought I'd tell you a bit more about my competition rig. This is a custom platform built on a Derrilin chassis from Rock Mobsters. I'll put the links below for these parts if you're interested. The transmission is the Hamburger by Eric Deluxe. The front shocks are custom from Pricey's Customs. The rear shocks are just the stock standard lightweight plastic from an Axial SCX10.2, but with softer springs and a lighter oil. Eric Deluxe is also responsible for the brass knuckles in his SCX10 range. The motor is a Holmes 40-turn Torquemaster Pro, and of course the ESC is the Hobbywing 1080. For the sake of our comparison today, the wheels are cheap Steelies and the tyres are the Proline Indigo TSL SX Super Swamper XL 1.9s. Both, I believe, are the Predator compound. The servo is a super sweet Holmes SHV 500 version 2, now is version 3 on the shelves. This runs directly on 3S at 12 volt power, and the whole thing is hidden under a trimmed Viterra Ascender body. Like the TRX4, both ran on a small 3S battery for the comparison, and I used my GT5 radio for both rigs to help keep this as fair as possible. The TRX4 has more weight on it than you want for a fair fight here. I've got a TRX4 Sport kit I'll put together soon, and we'll keep it completely stocked for another comparison. I also have a hardbody TRX4 with 4.09 tyres on it for Class 1 or Scale 1 comps. We probably should do a stock TRX4 Sport versus the comp rig here as well for more data on the same problems. I might even expand this to other rigs I've got lined up for testing in future. There's a Gen 8, an HPI Venture, an SCX10-3 Gladiator, and I've got some pro level comp rigs that might be interesting to compare as well between these and others on the rock, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to hit like if you found this helpful, and to make sure you don't miss out on more great comparison and how-to videos, click subscribe and hit the bell icon. It helps us grow, and more importantly, it hopefully helps you out. Thanks for coming along with me on this comparison run. It was fun and interesting. Until next time, I'll catch you on the trail. Cheers.